You guys remember this atrocious thing? Yeah, it was a bad idea, and we just now realized this in like the past year or two. But the Navy's trying to forget it very quickly. 2008, I should say. They're getting rolled out as I was a fresh boot. I was there. I was wearing my utilities, thinking I was fresh out of boot camp. Then, bam, the new Navy working uniform Type 1 gets released, and I'm like, I've got to have this brand new uniform because it looks different than everybody else. You guys all know when there's a new uniform change, if you don't got the new thing, you don't look cool, and people are not going to ask what you did to get it and how you got it. But, well, actually, never mind. I'll take that back. The PT uniform, no one cares about, or that stupid tracksuit. But this mattered because we had a very different uniform where we looked like actual janitors or prisoners at one point.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do?
Now, the Navy decided, hey, let's get a little bit like the rest of the services. And here are the 10 reasons why it was a bad idea, and this is one of the worst uniforms the U.S. Navy is trying to forget about. Let's start with good old number 1 here. Does it look familiar? Probably, as many other uniforms now have digital camo. Back in the day, this was something that only the Marine Corps had. The Marpats were something that was new and people liked, and they had this like winter and summer rotation. You know, the Navy likes their winter and summer rotations, but they were like, hey, how about this? Like, we do like that digital camo pattern, and you're our little brother, but let's take that from you. Number 2 is the Ace, which we all know is another thing stolen from the U.S. Marine Corps. The Marine Corps has the EGA, something every Marine earns at the end of their crucible cycle, and it determines that they are officially a U.S. Marine. Not a single U.S. Navy sailor earns an ace when they graduate boot camp. We earn a ball cap that says Navy on it instead of a demeaning recruit thing, but we'll not talk about that. As the anchor, Constitution, and Eagle, and I'm like, oh gosh, way to think of another acronym I gotta think of for another sailor, the quarter board, and now they're gonna ask me as a little E3 if I know what that even means. I just wear this, I'm not gonna lie to you. Alrighty, let's tell you another little thing that they won't tell you that they should have remembered, but they're not going to remember because it was costly. I'm sure it was. As you know, every uniform rollout of these bad boys is very expensive. Now, the other thing that made it very expensive was, you see these? These are buttons. It buttons together. And I'm trying not to show you guys my name because I don't want you guys to find me and stalk me. Now, here's the button. See these? This is actually a newer uniform, and they kind of fixed it a little bit. But back in like 2010, 2011, these buttons right here would fall off notoriously. I had so many different color threads of buttons that I Sharpied black, purple, teal, whatever I could find, I would use to sew the buttons back on. I had uniforms that eventually had 3 or 4 buttons where I just carried the buttons around hoping eventually one day I would have them sewn on again. The Navy addressed that and they finally said, oh, you can send that over to the Navy Exchange and we'll do them for free because we know the quality is just that bad. Military grade. Am I right? I understand zippers could break, but you know, it makes sense. I get it. Now this fourth thing here is, what color is this? It is blue. Now what happens when you're in the U.S. Navy? You travel on the water on gray things, which by the way has gray in this as well. And on top of that, the thing you float on is water, which is blue. Which means if you sat over the side, there were so many different rumors that this would turn orange. That's a false, because that's like the idiot that's never been on a ship that doesn't realize like water can splash up. You will get salt water on this eventually, and people will be like, well, no, it's technically different because salt water is what makes these turn orange. No, if that's the case, this would be revolutionary and everybody would be using it, don't you think? Think smart. And granted, that argument is already kind of dumb because if you look at it, what do most sailors wear on their Navy ships when they're underway? Coveralls, which are fire retardant, which are navy blue, by the way. And so it really hasn't solved the issue whether we went to this or we were already in that. And by the way, if you're already over the side, you're probably out of luck anyway, just being honest with you. Statistically speaking, if you talk to anyone that's talked about this or plans these types of evolutions, if there is a man overboard, it's a very hard find to rescue someone out of the water. And that's if you see them actually fall. Number 5. Everything on this uniform was sewn on. As you can see here, my rank was sewn on. So you're in the middle of the ocean, you're out there and you're wanting to represent your new rank. You can't because it's not sewn on. So then you have to find somebody, pay him a couple bucks like it's a prison deal to finally get this sewn on. Or you look like an idiot that just has this metal collar device that's on there, and you have to explain to everybody when you get back that you just haven't had time to go to the exchange, which, by the way, is going to take at least like a week to get back anyway, so you better pay to have it expedited, and that's coming out of your pay anyway. Now, this is a dark color for number 6, and I want to say, what do dark colors like to do over time? They like to fade. This is pretty new, brand new. I bought this for a training evolution. I was dumb. I should have never done that. But I did, and so this looks fairly new. But I will tell you, they end up looking very gray by the time they get washed. And then they're going to say, did you follow the instructions that are on the back there? They make sure it doesn't get like faded and stuff. Yes, I followed the instructions. I mean, the only thing I would have done differently is maybe let it air dry, maybe wash by hand. That would have made it a little bit less harsh on it. But no, they still faded. Guys, this is where I have to talk about the sleeve roll. The U.S. Navy needs to get rid of the sleeve roll. The sleeve roll on this, mind you, the utilities, there was no sleeve roll. You had to have them altered to have short sleeves, but that's because it's for fires. You should be able to pull it down immediately if you were to go into some fire. That makes sense. But I'll tell you, I never rolled them because it always looked bad. It never looked good. It always made you look like you had little SpongeBob arms. It's not like the Marine Corps uniform where it makes your arms look all poofy and like you actually went to the gym for like a second. Even if you have SpongeBob arms, it makes your arms look a little bit bigger. Number 8 here is the boot options were hot garbage. Mind you, again, you have to understand where we were coming from. Utilities, we were not used to this digital camo, wearing boots that blouse and things like that. We were wearing ankle boots with the utility uniform. So even moving up to this one was a plus, but there were only 3 boots that were authorized. The regular leather boot that you're going to see everyone that was wearing and still wears today. Then you had the suede ones, which were going to get super dirty very fast. I can tell you, swapping one deck with those things, got water on them, they were destroyed. They never looked good a day after that, and I was dumb enough to buy them. And then lastly, you had the flight deck boots, which were authorized, which I would say probably as far as build quality were the best. Number 9 on this list is they were notorious for being hot. This is navy blue, gray. The colors that are known, if you look up on Google anything, they are known to be the worst colors to wear when it's hot outside because the fact the sun is going to beam on there, it's going to sweat, look nasty, and bam, you're done. But that's my opinion, and that's where this is at. And you're probably asking, where's number 10? That's because there isn't one, and I don't want to make up something to just fill in a space. Let me know your number 10. What would be the thing you didn't like about this down in the comments below? But that's where we're at with this, and thank God we've moved on to the NW Type 3 until maybe next year and they come out with another thing. Please, Chief Navy personnel, CNO, the MCPON of the Navy, please do not decide to change anything else. I think we're done for like another 3 years. As always, if you like what we do here on this channel, you can always support over at patreon.com for some special perks and benefits. Also, on top of that, we do have a YouTube membership join button down below this video and on the main page as well, where you can get some special perks and benefits there as well. If you have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. See you next time.